Good morning, friends. So yesterday I did a poll on what you wanted to know more about, oils for sleep or oils for back to school. And I actually had a lot of responses for both, but sleep won out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some, there's so many options for sleep, but I'm going to give you some of my favorites and just some kind of like general guidelines. And then on Monday, I'll do some back to school oils for back to school. So let's first start with sleep. A couple of things to consider when you're looking for oils for sleep are what is the cause of your inability to sleep? Now, it may be that you have hormonal shifts that are causing you not to sleep, and that's a totally different conversation. So we would be talking about oils for maintaining or sort of balancing your hormones. So that is like a conversation for another day. But my experience is that, and this comes from being a yoga teacher as well, that much of the reason that many of us can't sleep is because we are living in that place of anxiousness and stress, and we wake up and we can't quiet our minds. So my first recommendation to you is to not look at your phone if you wake up or if you can't fall asleep, because the world on social media and the virtual world is not calming. And it also turns your mind on. So what we're looking for through oils is to kind of settle the dust. You can think about it, sometimes I describe it like if you have a jar of sand and water and you shake it up, that's what's happening when you wake up or you can't fall asleep. And what you want is you want the dust to settle. So with that in mind, let's talk about some of the oils that are really good for allowing the dust to settle. What you want to look for are middle to bottom notes or bottom notes. And what that means is these are heavier, thicker, lingering oils rather than the top notes, which are things like mints and citrus, which are bright and sparkly and very awakening. So you want to be going for oils that are a little bit more calming, that slow you down, that are a little bit heavier. So some examples of that are the woods, cedar wood, and sandalwood, Hawaiian sandalwood. These are often a little bit thicker. These are not oils, so cedar wood's a really great one. It is not an oil for internal use, so you can see on doTERRA's bottles, it will say only essential oil. If you can see that, it doesn't say essential oil supplement. So these would be ones you can use topically or in your diffuser, so aromatically. If you are looking for grounding and that like settle the dust kind of quality, a good way to do that is by putting the oils on your feet and on your legs. Hold on. I have a friend here who needs to go out. Live, Instagram live happening. Always when I'm live, always. So back to this. So you want those heavier oils, the wood oils, you can't take internally. And if it's an oil you can't take internally, you want to try putting it on the bottoms of your feet, on your legs, or diffusing in your diffuser. You can also put it topically. Some of these are dilute for sensitive skin, and that means you want to add either a carrier oil, something like coconut oil, or you can even use a plain lotion and add like a big squirt of lotion and a drop of oil. I do that with one of the blends we're going to talk about. So the woods are great. Cedar wood, sandalwood. It's not a wood, but it kind of has that same quality. Patchouli is another, and a little goes a long way with these. They're thicker and heavier, and you don't need to use very much. Another oil that I love for sleep is vetiver. And vetiver is actually is distilled from the root of a grass. So it's not a tree per se, but it is a very rooty oil. And you can see maybe that it's really thick. It's almost like molasses and syrup. And I actually have a dropper top on mine because, well, maybe you can see this. It's like syrupy, right? It's really thick and it slows everything down. So what you're looking for is slowing everything down, quieting your mind, slowing the chatter of your mind. Okay, so vetiver is a great one. And vetiver you can mix with any of the other oils that we have, or diffuse it plain, or put it on the bottoms of your feet. You can put it close to your head. You can take a drop on your hands. One of the things I like to do is put a drop on my hands and then like rub it on your pillow. If you don't have sensitive skin, you're not worried about it being near your face. So vetiver is a great choice. We've got the woods, we've got vetiver, and then there are a couple florals that I really love. Ylang ylang is one. So these are middle notes. We've talked about bottom notes. Now we're going to talk about middle notes. Middle notes are florals and resins. So an example of resins would be frankincense or myrrh. I didn't actually bring those over here, but frankincense is a great choice. Or a couple of florals. So one of the florals I like is lavender. This is usually my first recommendation for sleep. I find personally that lavender is an oil that a lot of people, it's a very divisive oil. It's one that we know about. She just came back in. It's one we know about, but a lot of people have really strong opinions about. So you may or may not like lavender. But what I love about lavender is it does have that very calming, soothing anxiousness quality. Same with ylang ylang, and the other oil I was going to recommend is Roman chamomile, which smells just like chamomile tea because it is a chamomile. And these are oils that are specifically help that anxious, chatty mind. So they're not so much grounding as they are calming and soothing. So I would say that the woods, the vetiver, those are kind of grounding, quiet, slowing down kind of oils, whereas Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, and lavender are more soothing. These are oils you can put in the diffuser, you can put on your skin, you can add to your bath. So a lot of different varieties of ways to do it. A lovely blend could be lavender, Roman chamomile, and say vetiver, or copaiba, or cedarwood, or sandalwood, or something like that. So you can play around with it in your diffuser. Make sure if you're going to use a diffuser at night, you use one that's ultrasonic and that has a shut-off feature. You know, I have a diffuser next to my bed, and I have it going while I'm sleeping, and I know that it's not going to be a problem because it will shut off when the water runs out or when the time runs out. So just something to consider. Also, if you have a diffuser with a light, my suggestion is to turn the light off. You know, some people find it very soothing, but it also messes with your circadian rhythm if the light is on in the middle of the night. Okay, so I suggest turning the light off and just letting the diffuser part go. Okay, and then finally let's talk about a couple of blends when we're talking about oils. So we have the grounding bottom note type of blend, and a good example of that is Balance. I also have a dropper on this because it's a little bit thicker. I love using this one. I do it morning and night on the bottoms of my feet. I actually combine this in the diffuser with Serenity, which is the other blend I'm going to show you. This goes on my feet right before I go to bed, and whenever I'm feeling kind of like a little bit of anxiousness rising, I like to use it. This is a strictly topical and aromatic oil, so no internal usage. Okay, so Balance. This has osmanthus, some chamomiles, blue tansy, frankincense. So it's really, that's why it has the blue tansy and the blue chamomile. So that's why it's blue, and it's incredibly calming. Okay, so this is one of your grounding oils. And then you have the magical blend of Serenity, which I used with my dog last night when there was thunderstorms, and it just kind of calmed her down. This is filled with soothing and grounding oils. So it has some of the ones we've talked about, sandalwood, Hawaiian sandalwood and cedarwood, and then it has lavender and Roman chamomile, and it's got a little tiny bit of vanilla as well, so it has a tiny bit of sweetness, and so a lot of times kids like it, if you're looking for a blend for your kids. I put these two together. I've been using them for almost 3 years every night in my diffuser, and they smell magic together. So that's that. And then finally, let's talk a little bit about some supplementation stuff that can help you. So I find that I sleep really well because I am using my daily supplements religiously. And when I don't sleep as well. When I was going back and forth from Amsterdam, and that's like a 6-hour time difference, when I wasn't taking my supplements, I would wake up in the middle of the night. And so and also that's why I'm sick. But so I use the Lifelong Vitality Pack. This has all kinds of goodies for you. I won't go into it in detail, but I just want to remind you that whatever vitamins and supplements you're taking, just make sure you take them. And if they have things in them that are energizing, you want to not do that before bed. There are certain supplementation products that can be really energizing. And so just make sure you read the label and see if it's good to have them before bed, or if it's better to take them in the morning, because some are better in the morning. But there's two that I recommend for folks if you're struggling with sleep. One is Copaiba. I talked about this yesterday. It works to send you into rest and digest, which is what you're trying to do when you go to bed. And again, it's a really good oil for anxiousness. Now, I use it in the dropper form, but you can get these little caplets, so you don't have to worry about tasting it. And I should just say that the difference between putting it under your tongue, I told you yesterday, was it's the quickest way to get it systemically into your body, versus taking it through a caplet, which it then has to go into your digestive system and be broken down to be accessed. However, there are a lot of people who don't like the flavor of essential oils. So I do Copaiba and frankincense under my tongue, and both of those are resin and syrupy type from trees. And so they have a little bit of a flavor that's similar to pine pitch, truthfully. And so people don't like, some people don't like the flavor, and this is a great way to get around not having to taste the oil. So you already have them in almost like a pill form, and you don't have to have the flavor. So if you don't like the flavor of the oils and you don't want to have that taste in your mouth, this is a great alternative. So you can take Copaiba before sleep, and it can work to help with the anxiousness that is often the thing that keeps you up at night. Another alternative is the Serenity soft gels. These are specifically designed for inviting in restfulness. Now, the Serenity oil has Hawaiian sandalwood and cedarwood, and so it is not an oil you take internally. It's only a topical and aromatic oil. You can get these actually together as a combo, but they're different. So the Serenity soft gels have lavender, and they have a bunch of herbs and floral, I guess you would say, I guess herbs is the best way to say it. Things that are specifically that support sleep. Sorry, I can't talk. I haven't had my coffee. So some of the things that are in it are like lemon balm, passion flower, German chamomile, extracts, and then there's also L-theanine. So this is specifically designed to help you feel ease and to help with anxiousness and to help you sleep. I personally find these to be not super helpful, and this to be very helpful. My husband loves these. I have one of my customers, not so much for these. So, you got to kind of play around with what works for you. And I want to say that if insomnia is your issue, the thing to really do is to come up with a small protocol, and I'd be happy to help you with that. Just DM me. And then if it starts to not work, you can change it. And the beautiful thing about sleep is that there are lots and lots of options. I've given you, I think, 6 oils that are possible choices, just showing you, but there's about 10 to 15 more I could recommend. There's oils that are almost like sleep bombs, and there are oils that soothe anxiousness, and there are other oils that are very grounding, and then combinations of them. So you have to kind of play with it. I know there's one person I know who finds, for example, peppermint to be incredibly calming, and for me, it is like the oil I use to wake up with. So try different combinations, give them a couple of days, and just see what works, but be consistent. And that's the last thing I want to say. When it comes to oils are like supplements. They're like homeopathic remedies. They're like exercise. If you run 5 miles a day, every single day, you start to see the effects of that on your body and your brain, and sort of your progress in exercise. And the same thing is true with oils. If you are not consistent with them, using them every single day, you don't get to see the profound effects as much as if you are. So if you're looking for support for something like, say, for example, stress and anxiousness because it's keeping you up at night, start with a protocol of oils specifically for that and stick with it and give it a little period of time to land in your DNA and into your cells. And you will find that if you're consistent with it, it works super well. So, you hear in my voice I have a little bit of sickness, and I'm actually super consistent with my oils and super, super, super consistent with my supplementation. But I just went on vacation and I was like, I wasn't. And for the first time in almost 2 years, I got sick. And the reason why I am convinced is because I wasn't consistent with the oils that keep me supported and keep my immune system supported and keep me sleeping well and all of those things. So consistency is so essential no matter what you're using oils for, and you will find the most profound effects when you are consistent. Okay, so I hope that helps. Grounding oils, woody oils, soothing floral oils, and then, keep taking your vitamins and your supplements, and put your phone away and don't read your phone at night. And if you're looking for a protocol for your own sleep support, just let me know and I'm happy to help you. All right, I will go through back to school oils on Monday. Those will be things like getting up and going in the morning, some immune support so not everyone in the house gets sick immediately. That happens all the time when school starts. And then also focus, because it can be really hard to get back to the homework grind when you've had the whole summer to chillax. So we'll talk about those things on Monday. All right, I will see you live tomorrow for something else. I don't know what. We'll see. Have a good one. Message me any questions. Bye.